Okay, in this video, I am going to read a text message, a voice to text that was sent to me from Barbara Jovell, Basha, testimony against Darlie in her criminal court trial. I've known her for quite a while, and we lost touch there for a little while, but we've been talking almost every day. And, it's important for me to know somebody that knew Darlie, that loved Devin and Damon, that tells it like it is. That they saw the escalation, they saw what was happening. And I've watched supporters trash this woman over the years. She's mentally unstable, she's been in and out of jail, she had a drug problem, and sometimes the people that were supporting Darlie by saying that were also drug addicts, in and out at mental institutions, stuff like that. So they've bashed her and bashed her and bashed her. And, so I talked to her once about 10 years ago, a couple times in between then. So when I had to go down to Houston, I said, you know what? I'm going to make a point to meet this lady. And I did. And I took her to the gravesite and we talked and we spent some time together. And she's nothing that these Darlie supporters put on her. They try and make her look like she's mentally unstable, unfit. And Danelle even said, Devin and Damon, they really didn't like her much. She said that. And when I told her that Danelle said that, her face got white, like it hurt her feelings because she knows better. I mean, Danelle, why would you have your kids around somebody and have them help take care of them if they don't like them? And why would Damon want to spend the night? He had spent the night with her several times. Why? And they didn't really like her. You fucking bitch. That's some bullshit. They're dead. They can't speak for themselves. So, anyways, I was talking to her and I asked her, I said, supporters say that you and Darlie and Darren had a big falling out and that's why you testified against her. I mean, I couldn't figure out what the big falling out was, because at the silly string party, you're right there tending to Drake, because Darlie wanted to spray silly string. So that's all I asked her on this one. I said, what was this falling out about money? Why do they keep saying you fell out about money? Because they never did fall out about money. Now, her voice to text is a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to interpret this as how I understand it, and you can see it too. She said, I don't know about fight over money. And the only thing when they were in, when they're in, wanted me to run the business, she said, you pay me $10 an hour. And I told them, it says as his phone now. It says, what she means is as his friend now. If he wants, so he can pay me 8 because he's just starting. So I know it won't be easy, but this is a year. This is after a year. You could go ahead and save you and me $10 an hour. So Darlie walked in with Darren and the kids, and she says, well, that's just review time. And I think you should have 50 cents more an hour. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said I started from 8 because I told Darren that to getting his some money so that he could give me 10. What she was doing was offering, she was saying, hey, you guys just started out. We all came from Cuplex. We're just starting out. Just pay me $8 an hour, and then when you start to make money next year, you can pay me 10. That's what she's saying here. So Darren that to his getting me some money, then he could give me the 10. And then she says, oh, I didn't know that. And then confirmed to her that's what's happened. So she thought that I was being paid from the start $10 an hour. That's why she was giving me 50 cents more. It's such a crazy little thing. I misunderstood. And when the party started, I started to walk away from the grave for Drake. I was kind of walking him. When she called me back, she goes, come back with about, I don't know what the Saturday means. It says, and then it says, Then I start walking back to the party, and when everything started, I'll keep my head down, and I couldn't believe it when the cameras left a bunch of kids and things show up, and she was giving knives and swords, and they were running around the cemetery fighting. I just went back home. When the media, whatever news, they were there, wanted me to say something, and I said no, and I walked away. When they arrived, actually, Darlie pretended like she didn't know. She's his special what they do here. So I run over there and I said, do you want me? Do you want? And they said that Mama Darling sent them. So then Darlie said, okay, it's all right. And right then, that's how the whole video started, okay? Now she's 70 years old. Here's what I want to clear up. We've been saying for years that Joe Munoz and KXAX were given exclusive rights to that silly string party because they paid out not, travel expenses, not necessarily, because I know they had plane tickets to Pennsylvania already, but they paid hotel fees and stuff like that for some of the people from her family to come in from Altoona, Pennsylvania to enjoy the graveside party. That's how they knew it was happening. They paid, they knew. All right, but Danelle will tell you that never happened, that they never offered to pay. They sure the fuck did. And here's Basia saying it. Basha saying that Mama Darlie set it up, and she didn't even know I knew that. I'm gonna tell you how I know, and you can take this with a grain of salt if you want to. I'm gonna tell you how I know that they asked Joe Munoz and KXAS to come out there and they could have the interview if they just paid these travel fees. I'm gonna tell you how I know. Because Darlie Key told me herself when I was a supporter. She told me that. We had them come out and we hoped that we could raise some awareness and blah, blah, blah. But Darlie wasn't talking about the intruder. Didn't raise no awareness. She said that she had them come out and they paid for some of the hotel fees. Darlie Key told me that. And then I have to sit and listen to her daughter go, nope, they weren't paid anything. No, that we didn't pay them to come out. Yes, they did. You're a fucking liar. And as far as the money, you can see how compassionate that Beja is. These are her friends. You're just starting a new business. Just pay me a little bit right now. And then when we get going, you can give me more. Anybody coaching her at the hotel to say that, Danelle? I didn't coach her. I asked her. She tells me.